We're taking an old Model T running board today. Super cool. It's got the Ford logo right there, like that. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are kicking off a special project, car related project. I've been dying to get to this one. The only reason it's been on the back burner is because I'm not quite sure how I want it to do. In my mind, I see it. I could see it in my mind. But as I started collecting all the pieces, I'm still not quite sure which direction to take. So I figured, you know what? I'm just going to dive in. I'm going to get started on this thing and we'll let it evolve, and maybe it'll come to me during the project. Well, it better come to me during the project because we're getting into it. We're taking an old Model T running board today. Super cool. It's got the Ford logo right there, like that. That's what we're going to start our project with. I do know. We're going to end up putting a rustic wood to it to soften it up a little bit. So it'll have a rustic wood frame, possibly with a shelf. But the main focus is going to be, it's going to be like a plant or something. I envision like a succulent type of plant here, but I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put the plant in. Let me show you what my original thought was. And well, this was my original thought. I purchased this at Treasures and Junk. You can go back, actually, and go back and check out the video on Treasures and Junk. Super cool place, got a lot of cool stuff. I purchased this with the intent of using this, but as I put it on here, and I imagine it with some flowers or something coming out of it, I think this just takes away from the running board too much. I want the running board to be the anchor, and then this would be too predominant in the whole piece. So that is definitely out. Then I thought maybe I'd tone it down with a bourbon bottle. This one's got the bullet bourbon, kind of looks vintage, but still, it's got a slight chance to make the project, but I'm not sure. So then I pulled this out of my stash. This was just a garage sale find, but it's just totally clear, nothing there. This might work. I'll know when I get the wood to soften it up and stuff to kind of hold the plants or flowers or whatever. We'll see. This is in the running. And then here's a spring I bought. I don't remember where I got this. I don't remember. But anyway, I'm kind of liking the spring. It can go like this way or it can go this way. Would have to figure out something to hold the plant like an insert. But because it's rust, it's not going to detract from here. But I could get the same thing with like a coffee can, like a rusty old can or something. So I don't know. We'll figure that at the end. At the end of the project, we'll figure that out. And then to illuminate, that's kicking it up a notch. I got this old light here, which is going to have to be converted to LED and probably battery. Whenever I do stuff that hangs on the wall, I want to make it battery because I don't like the cord. You have to plug it in or hardwired or something. So I'll figure that out. We'll probably do an LED with the little battery switch. But yeah, that'll be at the top, shine down, whatever container or vessel or whatever we're going to use to house the plant, whatever plant that might be. You get the gist of it, all surrounded with barnwood. It's going to come out super sick. So let's get going on this project. Can't wait to see it done. Yeah, let's go. All right, so starting a project without a 100% plan is always tricky, and let me explain why. So in this particular case, this right here, the Ford emblem, is going to be very important that shows. So the plant has to be below. So plants come in all different sizes. You have tall plants, short plants, you know, same thing for your vase. So if we were gonna run that bottle with like a single stem, you know, sunflower or something, then I'd have to give it more space, and I need to know where to mount the bottom of the whatever vessel that we're gonna put. So this is already, you know, making me think, you know, do I even start the project, or I got to make a commitment? And I'm committed to a short plant, a short succulent. Primarily the inspiration's coming from, I was recently at Disneyland, went to this, or I guess it's the California Adventures where they have the Cars Land. And that whole area there is like in the desert. And so that's why I'm committed to some type of cactus or succulent. So best guess, I'm gonna give myself 6 inches for the height of a plant, maybe even less. So that means the top of the cylinder or whatever, the top where the dirt would need to be somewhere around here, which means if I'm gonna do a coffee can, I can go ahead and cut off somewhere around here. If I do the long thing, then definitely would not need to cut off. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right below these old carriage bolt holes. Maybe I could actually use these. Later on, if I need to shorten it up a little bit, I can, but I don't want to cut too much off. But remember, I got to soften the whole thing up with wood, so I need to commit to that. And then on the other side, not a problem. The other side I don't have to worry about, because I know I'm gonna mount this light somewhere about here. It'll shine down, put a little glow on the Ford. So I'm gonna actually cut these holes off, and I'll cut it right there. So let's get to cutting. I'll mark it with a square and get to cutting. All right, so hit a crossroad as expected. I got a cut, looks good. I think we got a good height. And then if you recall in the introduction, I wanted to add wood to soften it up. So this is kind of where I'm torn a little bit. And I'm thinking it through, figured if I thought it through on camera, maybe that'll help. So I went out to the boneyard. I have a bucket, or a big drum of barn wood. And this is what I was thinking I was gonna do on the outside. I was gonna do something like, actually I was thinking something more like this. I even thought about possibly boxing it in on both sides, like that, or just trimming it back and just framing it out like that. Now, as I look at that, it's going back to what I said earlier, it's taken away from the running board. I want people to recognize it as a running board when it's all done. So I don't know if I'm going to use the wood. I have another option now. Welcome variable. This got cut off, and now I could put a shelf right here. Very simple. And then maybe some iron brackets that will match the light on the top, and just go with that. But I still like this a lot. And then a license plate that is the same patina, doesn't take away from the running board, looks good too. So I got some thinking to do. Let me see how that works. Yeah, we'll decide what we're gonna do. Let me figure it out. You'll see in the video what I decide. Let's keep moving. All right, until I make up my mind on the bottom half of this thing, I'm gonna go ahead and get to work on the light. We're definitely gonna need this light. So this light here, I'm not sure, I just bought it, once again, just bought it for a future project, and it's come. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get that screw on loose and take off the top and get to the guts to where I can put LED, battery operated LED in here. Yeah, let me get going on that. All right, so you can kind of see I was drilling it out and actually kind of broke through this a little bit too much. But the screw's out. Now we just got to figure out how to break this seam. I'm assuming it's a twist. But I'm trying not to break anything on the inside, so let me keep working at it. All right, so how are we gonna keep this lens, this is the actual bulb, solid all the way through. I'm gonna try something I haven't tried before. I'm gonna try to take these filaments out, drill a hole, and keep the lens. So let's have a little experiment with that. Let's try it. So for the light assembly, I was waiting for my Amazon package to arrive, and what I ended up ordering was a under cabinet light, very inexpensive. This one runs off of 3 AAA batteries, and it can turn on just by tapping the front here. But because it's going to be inside, I ended up making sure I had one that had a remote, so you can turn it on with the remote, on and off. And this one's cool because you have a dimmer, but then you also have 10-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute intervals, so you can turn it on and not run your batteries down if you just want to leave it on for a little while. So that's the solution to avoid having, you hang it on the wall and then you got to have a cord run down and plug it in, or you got to hardwire it, which that's difficult too. So this is the best way to get it up, look clean. You do have to change batteries, so I got to keep that in mind when I'm assembling the light, how we're going to change batteries if needed. So that's the light assembly we're going to put in here. The plan is I'm going to run this bushing here just to elevate it, and then glue that there. I've taken all the back half of the original bulb, I busted all that out. So this needs to fit in here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and encase that probably with hot glue. And then this will press on here. So that's what I'm gonna work on right now. We'll get this light done and then we'll move on. All right, so here's the issue. Here's the spot where I screwed up when I was cutting that screw out or drilling the screw out. It left like a hole. Now that hole will be towards the back, so you won't see it, but you will see the light shine through. It might cast a weird shine. So I decided to take some felt, and I'll just put it right there, and that'll block the light from shining through. You won't really notice it because it'll be on the back of the project, but yeah, that's just one way to fix up a screw up. All right, then just gluing it in. I just put some hot glue in there, kind of got it all sealed up, let it cool down a little bit, and I just gobbed even more hot glue in there to kind of seal it all up. And the next thing is trial fit it, make sure it'll pop on and off in case you have to change a light bulb. Just kind of bent those in a little bit, snap on, snap off, light works, good to go. Now to mount the little light onto the running board, I kind of step up the drill, did a small one, a little bit bigger one. Went ahead and just put it in there, and then I realized that, oh shit, it's too rusty, so I backed it off, sprayed some WD-40 on it, kind of loosened it up a little bit, made the threads clean, put it back in there. Now it screws on nice and easy. Tighten it up, adjust the top, and good to go. All right, so now you're seeing it. You're seeing it? Looks pretty cool. light works. Let me show you the light. Light comes on, light goes off. That's gonna shine down on what will be a plant, succulent. I think I'm gonna do flowers for the all demo purchase, but whatever plant you decide to put in there. But now I gotta make a choice, and these were the options. I narrowed out the glass. I'm not gonna do a glass thing. I think it's too new, too modern, I don't know. But we're gonna continue with the rustic theme. So option one is to put a license plate, but you'll see I'll have to bend the corners to kind of box it out. Kind of like that. That looks pretty cool, but going back to what I mentioned earlier, I really want this Ford logo to be the piece, so it kind of distracts from that. So the spring, option two. We're going with the spring. Let's go. All right, so mounting the spring, gonna definitely want to leave some room here for the flowers. I want to be able to see the Ford emblem, and I've been kind of racking my brain on how I'm going to mount this. I don't want to just strap it to the running board. I want it to kind of come out a little bit. Now I could just get some hardware, like the galvanized pipe hardware, and possibly put a little piece of pipe with a flange here. That would look good, but I'm resourceful. I went out to the boneyard and I found an awesome solution. I'm gonna use these. I don't know if you know what these are, if they look familiar, but these come off of when you're hanging a light with a chain. This is what would screw into the electrical fitting at the top, and then your chain would go on here. So you got your thread already there. That screws into your electrical, like this. This would be the piece that goes up top. You mount that to your box. This would screw, and then you do your flange to cover all the wiring and stuff in the ceiling. This right here, I just happen to have some in my boneyard. I'm glad I don't throw stuff away, but let me show you how cool this is. These are gonna slide on here. They'll pivot around. I'll get them in the right spots, and then we'll be able to bolt it on and get it away from the running board. So that's repurposed. That's trick shit right there. So I just started measuring off where I want them to be, mark my holes. Tried drilling, but it was on the lump there, so I used a punch to kind of set my holes. And then I just step up, drilled it, little ones, big ones. Was able to get it to the size I needed, put the fittings in there, and then just flipped it up, screwed it on. That easy. Then while I had the drill out, I decided to figure out how I'm gonna hang this thing. And I ended up using the rusty metal clip that was holding the light bulb in the socket, or in the housing that the light bulb was in. I went and I just drilled the sides of the running board, and I bent that rusty clip, gonna thread it through there, thread it through both sides, and just kind of bent it back, nice and rustic, kind of part of the same original piece. So that'll just hang on whatever you want to hang it on. Well, it's all done. I think it turned out super cool. It was actually easier than anticipated, because we ended up not putting the wood frame and all that. We just kept it super simple. Sometimes less is more. In this case, less is more, but it's a super cool piece. Model T, running board, flower-based wall sconce, whatever you want to call it. I'm digging it. I like it. I hope you like it. If you like this type of video, be sure to hit that subscribe button after I show you the highlight reel, or check out some of my other projects that I've done. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.